So you're a photographer and you collect junk. Well, I'm there with you. So what's some good junk to have? What's some stuff that I bought or I've been given that I thought was, well, not very useful when I got it or when I bought it, but it turned out to be, well, something that's really helped me a lot. Now, this is not a promoted video. This is not a sponsored video. This is nothing like that. In fact, some of the companies that I'm going to talk about, I actually don't like. But this is some of the stuff that I bought over the years that I bought for a reason. I thought there was a good reason to get it. And then after I got it, I went, did I just waste money? Does it actually have a purpose? So let's go into some of the stuff that I've gotten. So first of all, an SSD drive, an SSD external hard drive. Now, I have tons of passports. I have tons of external hard drives. But one day I decided that I needed an SSD drive because I hear they're faster. I hear that they work better, so on and so forth. So I went out and bought one. Now, first thing I noticed was they're almost double the price of a regular hard drive. Whether it's a passport, a little tiny one, or whether it's a big one, they're much more expensive. And as you go up in the size to the big sizes, they get really expensive really fast. But I went out and bought the SSD drive because, again, I heard it was faster. I heard that it would work better. I heard. And one of the reasons I wanted it was so that I could transfer videos to it, because transferring videos to a regular hard drive is a lot slower. So I went out and bought this SSD drive, threw it in my camera bag, and I used it once in the year that I had it. And then I went out on location one time with my laptop, no power sources around. Noticed my laptop battery was getting kind of low and I needed to transfer a ton of files. And I went and I plugged in my SSD drive and everything transferred really fast. And I noticed that the power on my laptop didn't go down. I thought, hey, this is a real big benefit to an SSD drive. Because it's not spinning the drive, because it hasn't got a fan or anything like that, because there's no resistance to it, they're much more energy efficient. Yes, they're a lot faster, but they're also a lot more energy efficient. So if you go out on location a lot, if you're constantly struggling to keep your laptop powered up so you can transfer and download and do other stuff with your files, an SSD drive is probably one of the best investments. Now, if you're buying a new laptop and you are concerned about power usage, get a laptop with just an SSD drive in it, not a regular hard drive and an SSD, but just a straight SSD drive, and they are much more energy efficient than a combination or a hybrid laptop. So that's one way of saving yourself some energy, shall we say. All right, the next thing, and I hope my daughter's not watching, but a little bit of how this came about. Every year for Christmas, my family draws names. We do it online. And a number of years ago, I had my oldest daughter's name, and she requested one of these things. And what is it? Well, it's a battery pack. And basically all it is a battery with some plugins to it, USB plugins to it. And I thought, what a waste of money. Why would you need an external battery to plug USB stuff in? I've got 20 USB plugs within like a foot of me here. When I'm in my vehicles, I have USB plugs everywhere. Why would you need this? Like, why does she need this? Does she really use her phone that often? Well, about 6 or 8 months ago, I was doing some videoing with a GoPro. And if you know anything about GoPros, you know their battery life sucks big time, especially if it's cool or cold. And a GoPro, you turn it on and you can almost watch the battery go dun, 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 dun. Not a fan of GoPros. I think they could do so much more with them. But I decided to add to my wish list for Christmas an external battery pack because I heard that they would work really well with the GoPro. And as it was, I ended up getting it for my birthday before Christmas, and I used it on my GoPro, and it works wonderful, fabulous. I thought, well, now I've got it. What am I going to do with it? Just when I use the GoPro, I don't use it that much that I need the extra battery for. So, well, what am I going to do with it? Well, about a month ago, I was out for a drive in one of my vehicles, and all my vehicles have USB plugins. In fact, my big van has multiple USB plugins, but here's one of the problems in most vehicles. The USB plugins that are in the front of the vehicle, most of the vehicles shut them off when you shut the vehicle off. So if you're trying to charge a battery, you shut the vehicle off and it stops charging. You turn the vehicle on and it starts the charging cycle all over again. You shut the vehicle off, you turn it back on, it starts the charging cycle all over again, and so on and so on and so on. So I'm driving down the road and my GoPro was, well, the battery was where it usually is, and that is low. And I still wanted to use it. So I had the GoPro mounted in the window. I attached this to the GoPro and it started charging the battery. The GoPro was running. I stopped the van to take some pictures, shut the van off, didn't have to worry about it resetting. And within about an hour, the battery was fully charged in the GoPro. Thought, well, that's kind of cool. So then I decided to plug in my phone to it. I was out in the mountains, and when you're in the mountains and you don't have good cell service, your phone searches, your phone heats up a lot. You use it for trying to call out, texting, use it for taking video, taking pictures, all of this stuff. And the battery was going down pretty quick. So I grabbed my phone, put it in the holder in the vehicle, and I plugged it into this. And then when I started the van, it was charging. When I shut the van off, it still charged. When I started the van, there was no shutting on and off like usually happens. And as a photographer, where you're driving down the road and you're stopping and starting, this was a good save for charging my stuff. And then I started using it for charging the lights for the batteries for the lights for my video. Then I started using it for charging other things, and it works wonderful. Something that I thought was totally useless has actually become quite invaluable. Now, if you go out in nature, if you do a lot of stuff, well, outside of the general population, where you're in the wilderness, where you're relying on your phone for security, for getting rescued if you get in trouble, for all of that stuff, plus for other things, this will allow your phone to just have that much more power. So even if your vehicle does break down, you've got extra power to get your phone charged so that you may be able to get that emergency message out. You may be able to get rescued a little bit easier, and so on and so forth. Not that I recommend it for that, but this does help. So that's another thing. And to my daughter, I'm sorry I doubted you, but yeah, it does work. Next thing. This was one of these dollar store finds that I bought, and I thought, why the heck did I buy it? They're little Velcro straps, and you wrap them around stuff, and they hold it just like that. And I have OCD. I like stuff organized. And I bought a pack of them for something else, and then I thought, hey, these will work really good for my cords. This will help me to stay organized. This will keep stuff so that I can actually find it, and there's not 40 cords all together. So I bought a pack of them for $1.50. I think there was 8 or 10 in a pack. I can't even tell you. And I keep all my cords organized for this. But not only that, when you're out shooting and you have cords running off of a tripod or off of a light stand, these work wonderful to secure them to that so that they're not flapping around, so they're not making noise, so they're not getting in the way, so people aren't tripping over them. They are wonderful. So I actually went out and bought 5 more packages, so I have tons of them, and I use them for just about everything. Extension cords. I use it for keeping stuff together, parts and stuff. They work wonderful for that. So that's another one of those things that I didn't think I would use. Now, GoPro. Now, if you have heard me talk about GoPro before, I don't like GoPro. GoPro has the potential to be an amazing company, but they have the same attitude that Kodak had at the end of their life, is that we're GoPro, we know it doesn't work properly, and we're not going to fix it, we're not going to help you. The GoPro interface could be so much improved, and I've talked to GoPro about it, and they just go, yeah, whatever, use it or don't, we don't care. It's like, seriously? So I'm not a GoPro fan, but I still have one, got one for a gift a number of years ago. One of the big issues though with the GoPro, and this is a Hero 8, is that to get into the battery, you're constantly pulling the door, and you got the flappy thing off. If you want to plug in, you're plugging it in, and then the door is flapping off, or you take the door off, and it's just a pain, just an absolute pain. So when I got the battery pack and I was using it outside, it says it's not waterproof, not this, not that, when the door is off of it, and yeah, obviously. And then I heard about the Media Mod. I thought, I'm going to buy the Media Mod for a couple reasons. First of all, because it's got a built-in microphone, you get better sound. But because you have all the plugins at the back. Now, to me, this is a game changer. This is absolutely a game changer. This took a GoPro that was frustrating me to no end and actually made it useful. And it's so nice. I can take the battery, I can plug in from the battery to the GoPro, and I'm done. It'll charge the battery. I can plug in and I can take the stuff off of the GoPro. I can plug in a microphone into it. I can do so much more. Plus it has mounts on it. The Media Mod, to me, honestly, 110% should be included with every GoPro as if you're going to use this, you need this. It shouldn't be an extra. It shouldn't be an optional. It shouldn't be. It should be you need this. This is 100%. No ifs, ands, or buts. Get this. And I have to say, if you have a GoPro, get the Media Mod, because you'll find having the plugs accessible for the extra, I think it's $200 or whatever it is for the Media Mod, and I couldn't even tell you what it was. I would pay $200 for it after knowing how well it works, is well worth it. And as much as I dislike GoPros, this has actually made the GoPro a little bit more functional for me and how I use it. Now, still, the user interface sucks. It's horrible. It just isn't good. GoPro really needs to change that and make it a little bit more user-friendly, shall we say, usable in the first place. So, but the Media Mod is a great accessory on your GoPro. So those are a couple of things that I have found that I never thought I would use or have a purpose for, and that's actually turned out to be really, really invaluable for getting pictures and making my life a lot easier. If you have stuff that you use, put it down in the comments below and let me know, and I'll take a look at it. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Get out there and take some amazing pictures, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye now.